Hello and welcome everyone. Today I'd like to talk about organizational behavior. It's very similar to HR, but it looks at organization as teams, as people who work there, people with personalities, with fears, emotions, motivations. Okay, types of leadership. Leadership could be democratic, could be not. The structure of leadership. Sometimes the company would reform their team and their leaders after a new project would start. Sometimes it's not. All those things. It also tells you about conflicts between employers and how to use it positively. Tells you that talks about something called job satisfaction, that if people are not satisfied, if they don't feel safe in their companies, they won't work hard, they won't have this feeling of belonging to the company. Therefore they won't try hard to achieve what the company really want, something like this. So this is briefly what is organizational behavior. Now I'd like to talk about something called business law. This is the main topic here. Because eventually you have people interacting with each other. So of course you have to protect the rights of customers, owners, anyone that is involved in this business. So what is a contract? They say people signed a contract. It's actually a legal promise between two people or one people or more, one side, let's say, or more or less, to do something specific or about something. It includes first offer. Okay, like imagine two companies. One sells medical gloves and a hospital. A hospital wants to buy medical gloves from this company. So the offer is medical gloves, of course, with specific types, size, and the amount. Second, we have acceptance. So both sides accepted on selling and buying. Okay. And third, we have the consideration, which is all the details that should be added. The way of delivering it, the way of receiving it, what if there was a damage, delay in delivering, stuff like this. All should be clear to avoid conflicts in the future. Okay? Or so create a legal relation, okay, between the seller and the buyer, this legal relation. So if the seller didn't provide the product, that would be a problem, okay, if he signed this contract, to preserve the rights of people. And also the contract, as I mentioned, it could be from one side, like a company promising to do something. Between two sides, a buyer and seller, it could be something else. Anything is a contract eventually, if you think about it. That two sides, less or more, agree on doing or not doing something. This is, and it should be. This is why it's very important when someone is signing a contract to mention all the details, so they avoid uncertainty, or sometimes, especially in the gray area, they call it, like when it's not very clear, okay, or a scenario that is not mentioned. So this is why they need a lawyer, for example, to write those things, because he want to make sure that all sides are covered, okay, to avoid any conflict in the future. Now I want to talk about something called the tort law. And you can tell from the name that it's civil wrongs that caused damage to people or to someone, a company. It could be, of course, it has many types, this tort law. First, we have negligence. Okay? Which is different than malpractice in medicine. We're going to talk about this for a bit. Also, we have assault. We have medical malpractice. Okay. We have here something called product liability. So when you sell product, you're responsible for this product in somehow. Of course, like whether it was suitable for human use, for example, whether it was in a good condition, the storage, anything related to the product, especially if it was used by people directly. So also we have the fifth one, defamation. Which is when someone claims that someone is responsible or doing something, okay, and the other person could be or could be not, but he doesn't have the right to. This is sort of a privacy issue, okay. Also, so employment law is about protecting both the company and the worker through contracts, and that mentioned working hour, the payment, harassment, safety, all right, all those things that protect the people from all sides. Also, the term of intellectual property, IP, means the copyright of books, software, videos, games, anything, or trademarks like logos, brands, or trade secrets, formulas, specific recipes. All of that is intellectual property. Also, it is very important topic in business law. There's also the consumer protection law to make sure that the consumer is not misled. He's actually buying a proper product. And also their health and safety law that includes training people, making sure their equipments are proper to use, also how to deal with emergency situations. Also there is the agency law when someone acts on your behalf. This is also important. And generally, when a conflict or a disagreement happens between companies, they avoid courts because courts are slow, expensive. They try to, companies or people who sign the contract, they try, especially in business, they try to solve it through negotiation or through arbitration, mediation, anything, but they try to avoid courts as possible because courts are slow and cost a lot of money. So, of course, there is the last thing I want to mention here, which is business ethics. We have, what's the difference between ethics and law? Well, if you think about it, that law actually focus on the minimize of standards, and ethics, their standards could be, of course, higher than law. Okay, but eventually can't apply all specific standards on people if they don't, if it was like too perfect or too good to be applied. So this is why law is very important. Okay, something that almost all rational people agree on. You can think about it like that. Well, thank you so much. Well, as you can tell, I'm not trying to make those videos so long because I'm trying to focus more on the math side of the MBA, or the scientific neuroscience, as I call it, equations, stuff like that. So this is why I didn't make that very long. It needs a lawyer to talk about those things in in more details or accurately more. So, all right, thank you. Goodbye.